Chapter 1 of A Little Servant. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. A Little Servant by Grace Livingston Hill. Chapter 1. High in that graceful branch yonder, just under the largest maple leaf, there hides a nest. Look! Do you see the leaf rise in the wind? There she is, that little gray bird. All day long the bough rocks up and down, to and fro, and all night long the stars peep through the leaves at her, and the tender moonlight sheds a golden rain around. Through all the long summer the sweet wind hovers, now singing a song of peace and love and home and joy, now lifting the green canopy overhead to give the little mother a view of some soft cloud floating in the blue sea above. And so she sits and broods and broods. And when it rains, why, it never rains at all in that sheltered nest. The leaves look out for that. Watch! Dipping, swooping, curving, with a flutter and a whirl, comes a wee bird smaller than the other, and she has yellow feathers in her wings. But Mother Bird's eye are on her, and wondering, she anxiously awaits the result of this unexpected visit. The small visitor hops about with a saucy air, eyeing all the time the neat and comfortable nest. Suddenly she makes a dart at a dainty bit of white cotton deftly woven into the nest, and as quickly carries away the pride and joy of the young mother bird's heart. It was as if, when you had just finished a nice little home, with bay windows, porches, cornices, and had sat down to your sewing to enjoy it all, someone had come and quickly picked off and carried away the bay windows, porches, and pretty things, leaving your house bare and forlorn. Yes, that bit of cotton was a bay window, a porch, a cornice, and all the other beautifying things to the little bird's heart. So also thought Yellow Wings, or she would never have made such a bold attempt to steal in broad daylight. With a cry of dismay, Mother Bird darted after her, but too late, alas! Yellow Wings was fleet and wary. She knew the quickest way to get out of sight, and poor little Mother Bird must come back to her dismantled home to tell her husband the sorrowful tale, and they two repair the damage as best they can. It is not the work of a day, though, for such bits of cotton are not always to be found for the looking. Poor little birds! And two watchers standing by saw it all. One was, did you ever know the little girl that lived in the pretty house with the garden all about it? Her eyes were bits of blue left over when the sky was finished. Her hair was like curling sunbeams, and her lips all kisses and rose leaves. When she laughed, 'twas like the spring wind playing amongst the violets, so low and sweet. Every one loved little Esther, and she was queen of the whole house. There she stood on the balcony, close over the branch where Madam Bird rocked all day, and saw the deed done which so darkened the cheer of the little nest. Her heart swelled with indignation that a bird could be so naughty, and her feelings took voice in a sorrowful, horrified "Oh, poor, poor birdie!" The other watcher stood below, leaning on his rake. He was a dark-browed young man, with a face that would have been good but for the settled look of gloom and scorn which he wore. There was a certain pride, too, such as did not match the rough gardener's suit. All about him stretched the broad lawns, smooth as velvet, of the Carleton home, and above the blue, blue heavens. It was a perfect day, and yet the perfection jarred on the young man. Here was all this beauty, and none of it for him. If there was a God, how could he treat him so? Where was the justice in it? He looked down with contempt at the heavy boots and the rake which must be used, and used faithfully, for someone else, ere he could have a right to his daily bread. He hated the work he was doing, and put no pleasure in the clean-cut curves of the gravel paths on which he was working, or the well-shaped mounds he was preparing for the plants that were soon to fill them. It was not many years since he was a boy in a home where everything was pleasant and happy. He was the pride of his father and the pet of his mother, their only child, and his every wish was gratified if possible. His father had not been rich, only comfortably off, but he had never wanted for anything. He had been a bright boy in his classes in the public school. His father had
Sample complete. Ready to continue?